Hey YouTube. So oftentimes when people are discussing colorism, one tactic that people like to use to derail the conversation is, oh, we need to fight against the system of white supremacy, not colorism, because colorism is an extension of white supremacy. And in theory, it's like, that makes sense, right? In theory, it does. It's like, hey, get rid of white supremacy and colorism will fall to the wayside. But in reality, this does, I don't know, this doesn't play out like that in reality. For one, we're not close to ending the system of white supremacy. Well, let's be real. We're not there. We're not even close, all right? Um, Shoot. Honestly, at this point, considering how black people are just so disconnected from each other, the only way I really see the system of white supremacy ending if it, just implodes on itself, are either white people end it kind of like how the Civil War um, led to the ending of slavery. By and large, I don't see black people leading the charge in this. You may have some individual folks here and there, but as a collective, I don't think so. I think black people are just invested in white supremacy, whether it be their jobs, careers, um, homes, like their material possessions, in some cases, even the people that they're with, their spouses, the parents of their children, So I really don't see that happening anytime soon, But meanwhile, people are dealing with colorism. So we have to sort of find a way to help the folks who are dealing with colorism, since we just can't wait around for the system of white supremacy to end. Especially if you Negroes have anything to do with it. I just don't see that happening. Um, and by the way, colorism is white supremacy, by the way. People like to just act like, on one hand, they're connected and just act like, oh, let's just concentrate on white supremacy. But the thing is, colorism is white supremacy. It's just maybe like a remixed form of it, but it is white supremacy. It is an extension of white supremacy. So when you're addressing colorism, you are, in a roundabout way, addressing white supremacy. And on the other hand, if you are not addressing colorism, if you are perpetuating and upholding colorism, then you are, in a roundabout way, not addressing, upholding, and perpetuating white supremacy. You see how that works? We ain't got the time to be waiting around and waiting and hoping for the system of white supremacy to end while we've got folks suffering from colorism. It just don't make no sense, And as well, we can do both. We can do both. We don't all have to do both, but some of us can do the colorism and some of us can do the white supremacy. But the thing is, when I see people trying to shut down conversations and shut down discussions about white supremacy, and it becomes suspect to me. It's like, like, is that person hiding something? Like, what's up with that? Why aren't they seem like they just want to really just not address it, shut down conversations about it, just pretend like it doesn't exist at all. And I'm like, if we did this with white supremacy, y'all would be calling that out, right? Like when white folks try to do that, when white folks try to run that game, y'all quick to call it out, right? But when it's flipped and you're doing it, then all of a sudden, oh, it's okay, it's cool, it's all good in the hood. Honestly, this is why white supremacy, probably why, the Lord allows white supremacy to get you, right? Um, he allows white supremacy to really bash you upside the head, whoop your ass, emasculate you, dehumanize you, right? Because you want to perpetuate fuckery, right? So on one hand, you want to perpetuate fuckery with colorism, but when it comes to white supremacy, you want to be, liberated from it. It don't make no sense. You don't have the nerve to think that you should be blessed to be liberated from it when you are, in effect, perpetuating white supremacy via colorism in your own community. But you want to be liberated from this white supremacy that puts its foot on your neck. And that sort of leads me into the next thing, the next point. And I'm going to put this question out here. Let's see, just want to see what you guys think. But if white supremacy only affected black women, especially brown-skinned and dark-skinned black women, do you think black men as a collective would care? I just want to put that out there. Do you think that if the system of white supremacy only affected brown-skinned and dark-skinned women, and maybe just women in general, but especially brown-skinned and dark-skinned women, though, do you think black men, especially dark-skinned black men, do you think that as a collective they would care? Something to think about. Because the way that these dudes be going on about colorism, and it ain't just them, to be fair. It ain't just them. It's the community as a whole, But the way that they seem to lead the charge on this, though, I don't think so. And that's something to really take into account. Also, if colorism negatively affected black men, like, dark-skinned black men, like it affects dark-skinned black women, do you think that, the community would care more? Because it seems like the community does care about white supremacy because it does negatively affect black men more than black women. And usually when that happens, when a black problem affects black men more than black women, it's seen as a community problem. It's seen as a problem, a black people problem, not just a black man problem, but a black people's problem, right? They make sure to use fear mongering to make sure, have you on board with their agenda, right? And also to the people who just, feel like colorism just ain't a big issue, it don't affect them, they don't care. Okay, you have that right. But you need to get out the way. You need to stop trying to derail colorism conversations. Because that becomes suspect. It's like you're trying to hide something at this point, or you're trying to stop progress, right? Versus just saying, hey, my name Bennett and I ain't in it. And just keeping it moving. Because a lot of times I see people, they feel the need to really push, like, no, 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 push, 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 push back. I'm not going to ask anyone to fight for something that they don't understand, fight for something that they don't believe in.